Franny Corley Perkins was born in Boston, Massachusetts in April of 1880 to Suzanne and Frederick Perkins. Later, she legally changed her name to Frances Perkins. Both of her parents were devoted Congregationalists and said that she had a strong desire to live for God and to accomplish something in life. She grew up deeply religious and would often ask her parents why people were poor and showed compassion for those around her. Her father insisted that she be enrolled in a predominantly male high school. After high school, Perkins went to Mount Holyoke College and graduated in 1902 with a bachelor's degree in chemistry and physics. She was the president of her class. While in college, she visited factories and became interested with conditions of the working class. After college, she taught at Ferry Hall School in Illinois and spent her free time volunteering at Hull House to help lower-class immigrants integrate into American society. In 1910, she stopped teaching and moved to New York City, where she attended Columbia University. From there, she acquired a master's degree in economics and sociology. In 1910, she also became head of the National Consumers League, where she worked to provide better labor laws. There, she successfully limited the work hours to 54 hours a week for women and children. In 1911, Frances Perkins was having tea with a friend at a restaurant a few blocks away from the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. Fire trucks sped by and she rushed to the scene of the fire. There she witnessed women jumping from the burning building to the ground below. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory produced female garments. Most of the workers were women. The fire broke loose on the 9th and 10th floors, and the girls were locked inside by their employer in order to keep the fire from spreading to the rest of the building. The employer later admitted to locking the girls in the building in order to prevent theft from his own employees. Women leaped to their death as spectators below watched in horror. The fire exploited the lack of safety regulations within factories and drove for investigations for fire code regulations. About 147 workers were killed, and the company remained completely unaccountable and received $65,000 in insurance claims. It was later discovered that the fire was started by a man who threw his cigarette butt in the trash can, breaking the rules of smoking while on the factory floor. The fabric, the wooden structure, and the sawdust in the factory made the building extremely flammable. After witnessing the fire, Frances Perkins stated, "Seared on my mind as well as my heart, a never-to-be-forgotten reminder of why I had to spend my life fighting conditions that could permit such a tragedy." Newspapers began to reveal the working conditions that women were under, and it was a pivotal moment in the life of Frances Perkins, who later pushed for labor regulations and ultimately changed the face of factory conditions. In a male-dominated society, Frances Perkins took control and pushed for the rights of all citizens, especially the impoverished. Perkins accepted the value of working-class organizations unlike other women of her time. She was named Executive Secretary for the Committee of Safety in New York and strived to improve factory conditions. In 1913, at the age of 33, she married Paul Caldwell Wilson and kept her surname. Wilson worked with the New York Bureau of Municipal Research. He was an economist and a budget expert. After the birth of her daughter Susanna, Perkins took leave for a short while from her endeavors. When she returned to work, her husband was in the midst of an emotional breakdown, which he never fully recovered from. In 1918, she was invited to join the New York State Industrial Commission by Governor Al Smith. She became the first female member of the commission. In 1926, she became chairwoman of the commission. And in 1929, Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was the recently inaugurated governor of New York, made Perkins the Industrial Commissioner of the state of New York. This position is the chief post in the state labor department. She gained respect from all the small interest groups and put New York in the forefront of progressive reform. She expanded factory investigations, reduced the work week for women from 54 to 48 hours a week, introduced the idea of minimum wage, and created the idea of unemployment insurance laws. When Roosevelt was elected president, he asked Perkins to be his Secretary of Labor. She in turn presented a list of requirements to Roosevelt that she wanted him to try to accomplish during his presidency before she would accept the position. Perkins wanted a 40-hour work week, a national ban on child labor, unemployment insurance, workers' compensation, minimum wage, Social Security, and national health insurance. As the first woman on a presidential cabinet, she put all of her energy into creating a safety net for the depression-ridden society. Her concrete vision for landmark reforms such as the Wagner Act gave workers the right to organize unions and bargain collectively. She was part of the Fair Labor Standards Act, which established minimum wage and a maximum work week for both men and women. This act was established in 1938, and she said the main objective was to eliminate labor conditions determinable to the maintenance of the minimum standards of living necessary for health efficiency and well-being of workers. In 1935, she chaired the Committee of Economic Security, which developed and drafted the legislation that became the Social Security Act. Frances Perkins held her position as Secretary of Labor 12 years longer than any other Secretary of Labor. President Harry Truman appointed her to the U.S. Civil Service Commission. She left Truman's office in 1953. When she was 77, she joined the faculty of Cornell University's School of Industrial and Labor Relations. She held this position until her death on May 14, 1965.